Hello and welcome to Geoscope on Politics Social. I am Graham Hughes and Ollie, Bowler Hatman, will be joining us shortly. Apparently he's just having his tea. You never come between a Yorkshireman and his tea, do you? So I don't know if he means his dinner or he means a cup of tea, but he'll be along shortly. He's just been doing a video with someone else. He's been moonlighting. So big shout out to Down Our Shed, and Richard and Lost Mystery and Tripod and Nunez in the chat there. Sorry we left it a bit late to actually set things up. Obviously, we didn't know whether we were going to do the show tonight, but we are. So let's start. I don't want to talk about America. Do we have to talk about America? Do we talk about the Texas gerrymandering? They've passed this Republican drawn gerrymandered map, but there's still not a quorum. They don't have enough people. So as you know, or you might know, in Texas at the moment, there's a situation where the state Republicans want to redraw the districts to gerrymander them in such a way that means that they'll get an extra 5 seats in the House of Representatives in the midterms because they've gerrymandered them into very, very heavily, deeply Republican-held areas. And the Senate has apparently passed this GOP-drawn congressional map, and it passed 19-12 along party line. 9 state Democrats left the floor in solidarity with their House colleagues who broke quorum again earlier in protest of the map. So the House will adjourn until Friday the 15th of August, which is this Friday, at which point the legislature will attempt to reach quorum one more time. If this fails, they will move to end this month's final special session days early, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott will immediately call a second. And they'll call, apparently he's going to call a special session after special until the Texas First agenda is passed. They're calling it the Texas First because it's a way of gerrymandering the map so that the Republicans get more seats. And actually, this is a case of the Democrats getting the thumb out of their arse and actually doing something proactive. Yeah. Oh, do I hear the dulcet tones of a lesser spotted Ollie in my ear? I think I do. Hello, Ollie Bowler Hatman. How have you been?
I'm all right. I'm doing well.
It's been about 3 weeks since we last did the show.
Down my tea.
You woofed it down. You woofed it. We were discussing whether it meant like a cup of tea or your dinner.
Well, I'm from Yorkshire, so tea for me is
dinner. That makes sense. Do you ever have tea with your tea?
Yes.
You do. Good. Glad to hear it. So I was just talking about the quorum thing in Texas, where they can't reach quorum, which is the minimum number of people you need, lawmakers you need, in order to pass a bill or an act or whatever it's called, a papal bull, presidential edict, whatever it is. They need a quorum. They need a minimum number of people in the chamber who are representatives. And a bunch of Democrats have fled the state, gone to hide in Illinois.
Yep.
And apparently Trump and his mates want to send the FBI after them. Call the FBI! Unfortunately, all the money's been taken from the FBI and given to ICE, so they're not going to be able to find them.
Probably. And we've had those 2 glorious South Park episodes as well.
They have been rather glorious. Can we talk about them for a moment? Because the first one was just basically ripping the shit out of Trump. The second one was still ripping the shit out of Trump, but they really went out of their way to have a go at Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
Now, Kristi Noem, if you don't already know who she is, she's in charge of ICE. She's in charge of Homeland Security, right? And she is famous for shooting her dog. Shooting her puppy, a 14-month-old puppy, because it was really ill. It had rabies. No, it was just annoying. Apparently. That was it, Ollie. It was just annoying her.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they go and raid heaven. They're doing an ice raid on heaven.
They do an ice raid on the Dora the Explorer show and on Heaven. And they make Mar-a-Lago look like Fantasy Island. And they get Dora the Explorer to put baby oil on gruesome old people.
Yep.
Ollie, before we go on, your green screen is flickering in the corner. The other corner. The other corner.
Other corner.
Is there anything you can do about that? Can you change the settings a little bit?
I don't know. I think it's 1 second. Let me just go.
Okay,
let me just go put on some more lights.
He's going to put some more lights on. Woof. Let Ollie slip into something more comfortable. But yeah,
there we go. That's improved the situation a little bit.
Yeah, that's much better. The Texas Attorney General has apparently seeks jail for Beto O'Rourke over funding the Democrats' walkout of the Senate House of the state house.
To be honest, it is a really good power move. A really good power move. I think we've talked about this before. I know the guys on the bin podcast. Let me say it. I can't start saying my B's. On the bin podcast said it. Well, I've said it to them as well. They need to grow a spine. Democrats need to grow a spine. If you're going to take on Donald Trump, you've got to be prepared to pull fast and dirty tricks like this to make sure that people like Greg Abbott don't get away with this.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, Republicans have done the exact same type of shenanigans to Democrats in the past.
Yes.
So it's just like,
what you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do? You got made, you got whacked. What are you gonna do? Bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, it just, I mean, and also obviously, it's just come out. Oh, thank you. It's just come out that Trump has sent the National Guard into Washington
DC. Yeah,
which is just mind-blowing.
Which isn't going to really achieve a lot, to be honest. I don't know what he expects to do, and where exactly are you going to put all these homeless people?
He's doing a Mugabe. This is what Robert Mugabe did. He had Operation Drive Out the Trash, I think he called it. He got rid of all the homeless people in Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe, which wasn't a particularly nice thing to do. South Park seemed to have more balls than the American Democratic Party. Yes, you could say that again, John. Absolutely. Lost Missionary saying, I appreciate what South Park does, but I can't stand watching it. Yeah, fair enough. Crispy Gnome, that's what I'm calling it from now on, says Graham Price. Listen, hi, Sarah. Hi, hello, everyone. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and
subscribe.
Wait for a minute. You don't even have to hit the bell notification icon or nothing. Just hit the subscribe button. Wait for a minute, and you'll be able to join in. So there you go. Scottish Scout group attacked because they thought they were immigrants.
Thought they were immigrants, yeah.
Oh my god! Thank you. Oh my, really?
Yeah, they were.
What Phil was talking about in the chat this afternoon? Because he mentioned scouts. Him and Mike were talking about scouts, and I thought they were just saying random shit. So what happened?
Yeah. No, so these group of scouts were abused because they thought that they were asylum seekers.
Were they on a boat in a lock? What was happening?
No, they were on this campsite. It's just like.
So people have been dressing up as scouts in order to evade border security in the United Kingdom.
See, it was always the Boy Scouts.
Wow. It's all been whipped up a little bit, hasn't it? It's all been whipped up.
That's how you get your badge.
Yeah.
You're evading border security patrol badge.
That is madness. That is absolute madness. So yeah, National Guard in Washington. And the officials in America are also targeting lawyers who are defending clients from deportation. They're weaponizing the state against dissent. And there was something about the fact that he can do this in Washington, D.C. He can bring in the National Guard in Washington, D.C. because it's a district, not a state, and therefore the rules are slightly different. But, I mean, the Democrats have to get down in the mud and play dirty. They have to.
Yep.
There's no point in going, well, no, we're going to use the rule of law, and we're going to, we're going to send them a strongly worded letter, blah, 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 blah. I'm sick of hearing it. They've got to get down and dirty. They really do. So, what else has been going on? There's a huge issue at the moment in Ceuta. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Which is a little enclave of Spain, surrounded by Morocco, in North Africa. There's two little enclaves. One of them's called Ceuta. And it's just opposite a place called Gibraltar. And I think Ceuta makes up one side of the Pillars of Hercules, and Gibraltar makes up the other, as in an entranceway into the Mediterranean, or an exit out of the Mediterranean if you're going to the Atlantic Ocean. So go and sail around the Bay of Biscay and get back for tea. Not a cup of tea, but your dinner. The Spanish officials are saying they're overwhelmed. This quite dangerous route from Morocco into Ceuta. So instead of going across the Mediterranean, they're going along the coast, which weirdly enough is more dangerous because it's very choppy in those waters. You've got a lot of water coming in and out of quite a small jet of, well, that's the one word, isn't it? A small opening that they can get through, that the water can get through. And it's quite rocky. It's quite a dangerous, precarious way of trying to get into the EU. But Ceuta is part of the EU because it's part of Spain. And I think this links quite well with the UK's and Europe's in general's migration policy failures. They say we're going to secure the borders. We can't. The borders are just vast and indifferent. They don't care. You can't have people on every beach in the country with a pair of binoculars and night vision goggles. You just can't. We don't have the resources. And what would be the point? It would cost more to do that than to just take the refugees in the first place. And I really think that if Starmer doesn't start to panic over this, which I think he's going to, because the numbers have come out, haven't they? The figures that 50,000 people have come over in small boats since Labour got in. If he's not panicking about this, he damn well should be. Not because I have a problem with people coming over to the UK to seek asylum. I've got a problem with people having to take boats to do that. But he needs to call a summit.
It's going to be the press that's going to be the problem with it. And of course, it's going to be reform that take advantage of it.
Yeah. But he needs to call a summit with the other European leaders and say, right, we've got to do something about the fact that people are going to want to keep coming here to Europe and have a fair, equitable system in which people get assessed and they get allocated to various countries depending on if they know someone or those countries have particular needs for particular professions or whatever it is. Based on the population and the GDP of that country, you get allocated to a certain country because we're not going to stop the refugees coming, especially the way the world's going at the moment. We're just going to have more of them. So that's been going on. There was also a horrific story that came out this week in the Zamzam camp in Sudan, in which it looks like 1,500 civilians were massacred in a refugee camp. And I mean, with everything else that's going on in the world at the moment, Sudan seems to be just operating with impunity right now. And this is something I was talking about on the show this morning. The more Trump does his mad shit, the more other countries feel empowered to do horrible stuff and get away with it. The more Putin does mad shit and Netanyahu does mad shit and gets away with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's destroying the norms that we are very used to in the world, and the more those are destroyed, the more those go. The more they get pushed, or the more there's a lack of accountability by the countries calling into this. That creates the problems.
Yeah.
And
you know the story a few weeks ago about the US aid food. There was £1 million worth of not as in
and the old burnt
cost,
it,
as in weight of food that was burnt. Well, there's a really disturbing story on The Guardian today about the destruction of contraceptives by the American authorities has denied 1.4 million women and girls life-saving care. in Africa. They have
Yep.
incinerated $9.7 million worth of contraceptives, which they think will lead to at least 174,000 unintended pregnancies and 56,000 unsafe abortions. Just, it just beggars belief what they've done, what they're getting away with, what America's done. Yeah. I really am just done with them now. So I'm sort of sick going, I don't want to talk about them. We've also got wildfires in
Edinburgh.
Canada and Edinburgh. Arthur's seat's on fire.
Yeah.
Arthur's not happy. He's in the hot seat. And Europe is bracing for another heat wave. We had another hot one today. Highs of 44 degrees in Europe. That's something that you don't normally get unless you're in literally the desert, the Sahara Desert, or the Arabian Desert or somewhere. Just maddening, absolutely maddening. There's also the Bolsonaro verdict.
Oh yeah. This is interesting. This, yeah. Oh, I think he has a very, very good chance of being found guilty on this, because a lot of people forget. Bolsonaro tried his own January the 6th style coup plot.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff come out about it, about what he was planning to do, that it was wanted like the military to sort of come in and help take over for him as well. And now they are trying to appeal to Trump to somehow save Bolsonaro at like the 11th hour, though I don't know how on earth he's going to come in and save Bolsonaro from this, because it generally does look like he's probably going to go to jail.
Prosecutors 300-page report into their shit he did. Yeah, he's pretty. I mean, there was a plot to assassinate Lula, the president, and the Supreme Court judge presiding over the trial. This was printed out in Bolsonaro's presidential palace. Printed out. I mean, I just. Oh, no, that was in the spam folder. No, you literally printed it out. Oh, I can't help what prints out in my house. These printers have a mind of their own. They really do. So you think he'll go down then, yeah?
I think he is. I think they are going to sort of send him down, because they're already doing a lot of stuff against Brazil at the moment. I think they put like a 50% tariff on them. They've pulled like all the passports like from the Supreme Court judges. And Trump is probably going to try and do other stuff to try and put pressure on Brazil not to do this.
50% tariffs on 50% tariffs on a country that buys more stuff than they sell to America. Like, what's the problem? What is it's a really good customer. But there was wildfires last week in the south of France, and now we've got parts of Spain and Portugal that are going to bear the brunt of this heat in the coming days. It is going to get very, very, very uncomfortable, and people are going to die because you get to a certain temperature and your body just can't deal with it. It's just too hot. Your body loses the ability to cool down. And also, this year has been particularly disastrous for crops, especially in the UK, where we've had these periods of big heat waves with not enough water. We're in a drought, and basically things are shriveling on the vine, or not growing properly at all. And you'll never guess who was complaining about the fact that the harvest was really bad.
Oh, it was Clarkson, wasn't it?
Yes, Jeremy Clarkson, one of the people most responsible for the continued burning of carbonaceous slime over the last 25 years, in the world, because Top Gear is shown all over the world, or at least it was. It turns out, he's not very happy. But does he blame climate change?
No.
Who does he blame?
Blames the government.
He blames Ed Miliband. Yeah, exactly. It's all Ed Miliband's fault. that the weather's gone
Which, again,
fucking
I
haywire.
don't understand, because it hasn't always been the weather that's been the big problem for farmers, like the unpredictability of it.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, well, why is that happening, Jeremy? What's
Come on,
going on,
Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Jeremy, you're 40, Jeremy. I love that. But yes, did you see that clip? There's a new Mitchell and Webb show on TV, and they put a clip up of them trying to go through the luggage
Go to the
thing
airport
in the
security.
airport. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell! If you haven't seen it, put Mitchell and Webb airport scanner or something like that, and it's terrifyingly accurate of the stress of going through one of those bloody scanning machines. Yeah,
Like you say, when I was doing my term as like UK president, I was doing a lot of traveling.
yeah.
I got it down to just a fine art. I was just like, right,
Yeah.
there you go, run me through. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Oh, it is stressful.
So in Australia, just to pop to the other side of the planet,
Australia,
continuing talking about climate change, the Great Barrier Reef is pretty fucking dead. Pretty brown bread. Pretty, it's not looking so good, mate. It's really not looking so good. There's and Australia is one of the biggest producers of coal in the world. And they've actually done things where they've damaged they've dug a channel through the Great Barrier Reef so they can get the coal to China faster. So the Chinese can burn their coal and cause climate change to happen and to destroy their incredible natural coral reefs, which stretch for hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Yep.
I mean, along the coastline of Western Australia on the other side, there's a stretch that's 1,500 kilometers long of coral, and 75% of it's dead because of the water getting hotter. And when water gets hotter, it doesn't just obviously you've got the ice melting from Greenland and Antarctica and glaciers around the world, but you also have the fact that warm water is actually more it spreads out, it expands. So in a glass of water you wouldn't notice, but on a global size thing like a fucking ocean, it makes a lot of difference. And there was something else that I was reading the other day about climate change. Apparently it's going to make there be more volcanoes go off. Volcanoes, Ollie. I was like, how does that work? And it's like, well, in certain regions of the world, like in Antarctica, got a big load of permafrost that's like a few kilometers deep, and that's sitting on the mountain, putting pressure on the mountain and keeping that magma down in the ground. And if that all melts away, that pressure is relieved, creating a void for magma to flow. It's like a sponge. And we'll get more volcanic eruptions. And more volcanic eruptions mean more disturbance to the atmosphere. In bad ways. And it might get colder for a few years if you have a big explosion and it takes out the sun for a couple of years. So you can just live in the permanent twilight. And then as soon as that's cleared up, it'll get hotter again because of the amount of CO2 it's put in the atmosphere. Yay! One Angry Pagan says, ocean acidification, killer of corals for hundreds of millions of years, this time incited by us. Yep, that was us. We did that. The poor old coral's dead. On Earth, it'll live no more. For what it thought was H2O was H2SO4. The temperature at which you can't cool from sweating depends on humidity, says Miss Paula Thomas. Yes, Miss Paula Thomas, that's very true, actually. It does depend on it. Chrissy says, anything that upsets Gammon Clarkson is fine by me. Yeah, but come on, climate change.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're saying, but I mean, in Canada, there's 470 fires that are out of control at the moment. In Canada. Yeah, that place is supposed to be cold. We laugh at it and call it cold Australia. Now they're having more fires than actual Australia. Yeah, it is absolutely insane. So, should we talk about China?
China.
Me old China. So the
China.
90-day trade truce has kicked in. It's
another
ladies and
90-day
gentlemen,
trade
it's
truce.
Taco Tuesday. It actually happened on a Tuesday for once, so we can say
normally
Taco
happens
Tuesday.
on a Wednesday. We
I know Taco Wednesday. That doesn't work. There's no alliteration in that. So yeah. And have you heard about the Nvidia and the AMD situation? Do you want to talk about this? Do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah. So what was going to happen, obviously, because of these tariffs? And Nvidia probably were like one of the biggest microchip producers in the world. Initially, when all this sort of started, a lot of their stuff is produced in Taiwan. Now, with these tariffs coming in, out comes the chairman of Nvidia and goes, whoa. If you do this, it's kind of going to go like really negatively affect our business. So initially, he seemed to sort of try and bribe Trump with saying, well, here's like a load of investment we'll put into like the US.
Yeah.
And that seemed to initially be it. However, now he seems to have put even more money in, saying that they're going to invest in the US so that they can now sell their most advanced AI chips, because Trump had put a ban on selling these types of chip to China. Unless now you're on Nvidia, then that's okay, because you've paid your Dane geld.
Yeah.
And you can now sell your chips to China.
Yeah.
Which apparently we were not meant to do at all, because that was bad. But all okay now.
We've had our first super chat of the evening. Thank you so much to number 3. First super chat of the whole of August so far. So thank you very much, number 3. That's very kind of you, friend. And he says, "Let's all pray for Prince Andrew." No. So we have to. What, is he dying? What a shame. Prince Andrew. So there's a book that's come out. Turns out he's even worse than we possibly imagined. He's an even bigger twat than we ever thought possible. How is that? How did that happen?
Who could have guessed?
But how could he be even worse? I thought he was all. But apparently, he did things like he sacked one of his servants for having a mole. I mean, he's like King Joffrey, but without becoming king. Do you know what I mean? Like, the stories in there of him just being the biggest shit you could possibly imagine are just legion, and he's a horrible man. And even the Daily Mail last week, right, Ollie? Daily Mail actually had a headline, the opinion thing at the top of the masthead, and it said, "We don't eat, after all Prince Andrew's done, I don't know why anyone's talking about my friend Meghan Markle. She's great, like it's kind of a bit of a point compared with what he's been up to. Like, Meghan Markle's an angel." I mean,
it's all been a very bit awkward, ever since that trip to Pizza Express.
Well, Futum Stuck is saying, "Re Prince Andrew, what was that about humidity and sweating again?" Yeah, you can't sweat.
Yeah, it's really hot on Pizza Express.
God, that was like something out of like a British sitcom, where someone's been caught in a lie and they just have to make something up on the hoof, and they go, I can't sweat.
Yeah,
couldn't have been me. I can't sweat.
I sort of wish we could go back in time and have the old school spitting image people like parodying that, because they would have absolutely nailed him to the wall.
I think Spitting Image are doing some shorts online. I think they're doing some like YouTube shorts.
Yes, they're doing what is it? They've got their take on like the rest of politics, where they've got Prince Harry and Paddington Bear.
Yeah. So here's a funny thing, right? Do you remember we upset France a little while ago because they were supposed to be building some nuclear submarines? Right.
The whole AUKUS things.
Yep. Yes. And the AUKUS, which is Australia, UK, and the US, said, no, we're going to get Australia to build it instead. Right? Apparently, the, these new AUKUS laws that they brought in Australia means that nuclear waste can be dumped anywhere in Australia. Who signs up to this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, well, nuclear waste honestly is a problem. And there's a really good video about John Oliver did about the nuclear waste problem that America actually has, and like the things that they've tried to do to solve it.
No, you take it. Well, apparently the Australian government has awarded itself the right to dump the nuclear waste anywhere it wants without proper consultation with communities and indigenous landowners. So they could just go into the NT and just go to a sacred site to the local Aboriginals and just dump a load of literally deadly nuclear waste.
Dump it. They're just they're gonna have to dig a pretty deep pit to dump it first. So yeah, that's gonna be fun, I suppose, for a lot of Australians in the not too distant future. Expecting to be complaining about that very much so.
Yeah. And the spent fuel, because it can be enriched to make weapons, it will need military grade security to safeguard the waste. Oh well, France didn't get the contract and they were upset. So as they say in Australia, suffer in your jocks, mate. Oh, Jesus.
It's all right. I'll only take, one incredibly weird mutation. We'll probably end up with radioactive kangaroos, koalas, and God knows what else deadly creatures down there. Yeah. So, yeah, fun times for wild creature mutations.
Yeah. Ms. Paula Thomas says there was a rumor that Koo Stark left Andrew because she found him in bed with a sailor. That's what I mean. If that's true, that's a lot less bad than what I thought he was going to be found in bed with. Koo Stark, famously in Star Wars: A New Hope, she played Cammy, but her scenes were cut, unfortunately. But she used to go out with Prince Andrew, and then they found out that she'd been in these films in the 1970s where she got her boobs out, and they went, "Ooh, she can't join the royal family," so she never became Princess Cammy. We had the Princess Leia instead. Power to the people. Graham Price says they need to get B. Smith from Prisoner Cell Block H to be Australian Prime Minister. She'll sort it out. King Kangaroo Godzilla says jackpot. Oh, that would be fucking brilliant. Jackpots. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Hey,
Let's do a movie with this massive fucking kangaroo just bouncing all over Sydney, just destroying buildings in its way.
Well, if you've ever seen Pacific Rim,
just bouncing. Could you imagine? Because it'd be funny as well. It'd be sort of charming that they just thought. Because when you see Godzilla or King Kong, they're always lumbering, aren't they? But this would be bouncing.
Have you
along.
Seen the thing in Bristol recently about the giant Chewit inflatable monster?
No, what happened?
Yeah, it was just so the factory down there basically inflated this massive inflatable.
Yeah.
Didn't the big Chewit, dinosaur, big green. No one didn't tell anyone.
Ate the Taj Mahal. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, didn't tell anyone. And then everyone's just like, I don't want to alarm anyone this morning. People have been having a right hoot, Can you see? Oh yeah, looks like Bristol's about to be destroyed by Godzilla. By the Chewit.
It's opening the window and there's Godzilla just towering over you. You're like, fuck! Close the window. Go back to bed. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Hey, have you heard about the latest on the South Korean political scandal about the prime minister? The president.
Yes, they're calling in his wife now, aren't they?
Yes, his wife, the first lady, the former first lady, Kim Keon Hee has been arrested after the impeachment fallout, and
And I'd love to find someone, because there's so much of the story that, from what I've heard, isn't actually being reported in the English like speaking like newspaper stuff. I would love to try and find someone for Korea to come like explain the full extent of just what's been going on since this trial has been going on, because apparently there's some wild stuff going on
I could try and do
with
that.
it.
I know people in Korea. I'm sure I could get someone to talk about it. It's been crazy. And did you hear about the collision in the South China Seas?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I say this is unusual, but it's really not.
there's a warship. There's a Chinese warship, right? And they're chasing after a ship from the
The
Philippines.
Philippines, yeah.
And they crashed into their own coast guard.
Yep.
I mean, I,
Yeah, but this is what China does. It's this whole thing about all these like areas, they're claiming all these like tiny specks of land, saying no, no, this is ours. When in reality, you know, the sea line from China does not extend out that far out like to the Philippines.
yeah,
But this is just the big sort of thing that they are sort of trying to claim. It's basically said really a big military move for them to try and sort of claim that sea area because they want to build bases on it. Um, so yeah, this isn't unusual, but it is unusual in the fact that two Chinese vessels have collided with each other because they tried to pin a Philippine vessel between them. So, kind of funny in that regard.
yeah. We're seeing a surge in dengue fever around the Pacific, and also talking of climate change, there's a bit of a shocking statistic that's come out of Southeast Asia that the megafish, the populations have halved, which in the Mekong, which is part of a wider ecosystem collapse. We're seeing an absolutely outrageous collapse in ecosystems all around the world. It's been going on for years. And like I said, it's all tied in with the bleaching stories about the Great Barrier Reef, and I just want a leader who makes this the whole campaign, makes this the whole thing. Every time they stand up, they talk about we need to save this planet, and we can do it. We can be the generation to do it. We can be heroes, just for one day. But we have to start by telling the carbonaceous slime purveyors to fuck off, and that we don't want their slime anymore and their filthy fuel anymore, because it's disgusting and it kills people and it's horrible. And we want nice, clean, great British power. Thank you very much in my country. Should we talk a little bit about Ukraine before we
Yes.
bugger off?
Yeah, we are probably going to get like major updates. And this could all probably be kicking off once again very soon.
It's
Thanks to Donald
Friday.
Trump.
Friday's the
Yeah.
summit, isn't it, in Alaska? Which
So
was
for those of you
bought
who
by
don't know
America
how we got here,
from Russia.
yeah, well, for those of you who don't know how we got here, let's rewind time to back to where we last mentioned Ukraine. So yeah, last time we were here talking about Ukraine, Donald Trump was basically issuing weird threats saying that they're going to pull all the money from Ukraine, they're going to stop all the weapon shipments. Then someone must have spoken to him. We don't know who or what, but apparently someone spoke to him, and this all started to change. Weapon shipments got restarted, money started going back to Ukraine. Good. Excellent. It's Donald Trump, but when he does something right, I'm gonna say that's a good thing, especially for Ukraine.
When he
But
occasionally gets things right.
yeah, occasionally get things right. A broken clock and all that. So now we get to the situation of a couple of weeks ago, out of nowhere, he's now saying we need a ceasefire. Well, okay, this has been the call for quite a while for a ceasefire. It's never happened because of Russia. Trump, out of nowhere, turns around and goes, well, if they don't agree to a ceasefire, I'm going to put secondary sanctions on them. Which, again, great news for Ukraine, great news for everyone else. Probably not so, of course, if you are Russia, because you're getting those secondary sanctions on you. Which now appears to then of put Putin, although honestly, given what Putin has said in the past couple of 24 hours, nothing's really changed, unfortunately. So this is now happening at a summit, now happening in Alaska, which Donald Trump called part of Russia, even though it's America where this is happening.
Oh my god!
And yeah. By the way,
imagine if Biden made that faux pas. He said, "Oh,
Yeah.
Hawaii, famously part of Japan."
Yeah, remember, Russia wants to get back Alaska as well, so Putin was well pleased with that faux pas. But it goes back to why, honestly, this is going to fail. Like, we can be really optimistic about this, but I very, very much think this is going to fail because Russia has not changed its demands. Like, ever since the Istanbul conference, the demands have not changed. Well, bar 2 extra oblasts now.
Yeah.
So they still want to take all these 4 oblasts, including territory currently they do not control, which again would give them access over the Dnipro, which will then allow them to have jumping future off points into a future invasion of Ukraine. They are still insisting on the demilitarization of Ukraine down to a number of active troops that basically could not defend Ukraine if it got attacked again. 6 artillery guns, this war, artillery has proven to be, key in this war. Ukraine, you're only allowed 6 artillery guns. 5 tanks, 12 armored fighting vehicles, and pretty much that is it for your army. That's all you're allowed to have. It would pretty much neuter it against any future invasion, and of course, still insisting you cannot join NATO. Also ensuring that it's free, open for invasion. Basically, whenever Russia wants to come back, whenever it's rebuilt,
whenever it wants to take the West. Yeah. It's absolutely insane. It is just
Putin
insane.
has not changed. He's still demanding that stuff. He is going into that meeting on the Friday saying that to Donald Trump. What's going to come out of this meeting, we don't know.
Donald Trump's going to be like,
I am not optimistic.
Yes, sir. 3 bags full, sir. I love you, Vladimir.
Look
at me.
Downward Shard was also right. Trump has apparently said he will try and get some land back. So, the Ukrainians might get some land back. Maybe not all their land back, which, they should really be having. So, I am not optimistic. I am not optimistic about what's going to happen. Even worse, the Ukrainians aren't in the room.
No.
So, once again,
it's the Munich deal all over again. But it was, Britain and Germany didn't invite Czechoslovakia. And they just said, you can have Czechoslovakia. But don't do any more naughty things, Adolf. And he went, okay then, Scouts on it. Won't do any more naughty things. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
We have been saying
100 million people dead. I'm just saying, historical precedent for this exact fucking thing. You get a megalomaniac and you give them all the power they want, and then they go, that'll do me, I've got no more ambition after this. I'll just retire like Thanos on me farm. And they won't. Because they were like,
I mean, we've said this since the beginning. If any peace deal is ever to work, Ukraine has to be at the table. And not only is it at the table, it should be at the head of the table.
Yeah. It should be making demands.
With us behind them.
Making demands.
We should be backing them up for any future security guarantees or anything like that.
Here's what's going to happen. No one else is in the room. This was John saying this is true. And no one else in the room except for Donald Trump, Putin, and Putin's interpreter. That is, wow. And Diz says, why is this timeline so like the 1930s? I don't know. We must have really upset some Polynesian deity. And this is our punishment. This is our collective punishment. We didn't sacrifice enough virgins into
what
that.
Was that thing about during 2020? Someone found that golden eye. If you remember, someone dug up that golden eye. I think we might need to maybe put it back, or
put it back.
use it to
It's cursed.
stop whatever.
It's cursed.
Whatever evil deity we've unleashed.
Before we go on, I've just done a little target. Obviously, we're wrapping up in 12 minutes' time. But if you would like to drop a super chat in, it's for my Lemsip fund. I need to get more Lemsip because I'm really, really under the weather at the moment. I'm not doing so great. And also at 8:30, we'll be shunting you over. So welcome everyone who's come here from Mikey's channel. We're going to be shunting Mikey's channel, people, and everyone who's watching this now over to our friend Maximilian after this. So please stay tuned. You don't have to go anywhere. We will continue to entertain you for another 11 minutes, and then we'll send you over to Max to entertain you for a little while. What's Max talking about this evening? I will have a look for you. Not that anyone asked. Small boats are back. Yvette Cooper defends arrests, and Kemi wants camps. Kemi Badenoch wants some camps to concentrate all the people in. But they're all in one camp together, concentrated. It's not a good look, is it?
No.
Anyway, has someone been blowing one of Tutankhamun's trumpets again, says Graham Price. Probably. Thanks very much for the £5 super chat, Hilgara. That's very kind of you. I mean this from the heart. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah. Really, come on. What's a horrible way to go? Come on, Scrofula. Do your thing. Do your thing. Come on, bubonic plague. Do your thing.
You think is, I think we've discussed this before, but you sort of don't want him to die while he's president, because that means JD Vance becomes president, and JD Vance is like 10 times worse.
Yeah, but he won't last a week. He won't
not only on this issue, but everything else.
Yeah, but Trump has got charisma. That's the big
problem.
Difference.
Is he would still be in power for like the next couple of years.
No, he wouldn't. I honestly believe the Americans would just rise up and get rid of him. If it was JD Vance, I can't see them doing that to Trump, but I can see them doing that to JD Vance because he's just so unlikable. He's an unlikable man. He's going to be in charge of a country that's economy's just, got into its Trump slump, and it'll all be his fault. It won't be Trump's fault because Trump was perfect and he did everything right. And anything bad that happened must be his predecessor or his successor. And so they'll all blame him. One angry pig. And do you think like the people who don't support Trump at the moment are going to interfere? Are they going to go, no, MAGA, please, don't take JD Vance out for pizza? Apparently there's a dance against Vance going on at the moment in the Cotswolds.
The dance against Vance.
The dance against Vance. I love it.
That's good.
One angry pagan, thank you so much for the £1 super chat. And also, Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. This emphasizes what I've been saying all day. There's going to be a bloody soaring with Russia. There may be an additional one with the US. I think Russia needs to be put back in its box. And I think that we have the power to do it.
There is another dimension to this as well that needs to be asked. Why is Trump so desperate about this? Why is he suddenly stepping things up? This is because, like, pretty much obvious from the word go, he is desperate now to pull all the American resources that are currently sitting in Europe out of there and focus them over into the Pacific. Because I think he is being told, you need to go and sort out China. I think there's a lot of China warhawks over there,
really
saying, look, you need to go sooner into China rather than later.
I don't know if he cares, to be honest with you. I tell you what, it was a bit funny that everyone started talking about Epstein the moment that the big bastard bill was passed.
Yeah.
It was like 1 minute later, and they went, oh, did anyone mention Epstein? And it was like, it was all the people around Trump who were talking about it. Almost as though they only needed him to get the big bastard bill through. And once that was through, they were like, right, we're done with you now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but you know how paranoid he is. You might want to put that about. You might hear it on the wind and go, can't trust anyone. And they might go all Howard Hughes and, I don't know, sit in the corner playing with his toes for the rest of his despicable reign of error. So yeah, what else have we got in the news? Did we finish up on Ukraine? Where do we think it's going to
No, just the last part of this. Zelensky
Yeah.
is pretty vocal about this as well.
Mm.
And it all comes back to that, of course, Putin demanding territory. The territory that he's demanding gives them access over the Dnipro, which, again, if they get that, they're going to use as a future springboard. All Putin is asking is saying, look, give me everything I want now, and then in the future I can come back, and I can pretty much take what I want at will. And no country should ever agree to that at all whatsoever. So it's setting up yet another confrontation between Trump and Zelensky. Because what if Trump comes out of this and then says, I got you this absolutely golden sweetheart deal. Zelensky more than likely is going to turn around and say, no, that is a terrible deal, to which Trump will flip out.
Yeah.
And probably start blaming Zelensky again.
How rude. He's so rude. He's such a rude man.
Yeah. And it all goes back to, once again, something else I've said multiple times whenever we've covered this. We as Europe should be basically probably be preparing for what? I don't know, but, there's been a lot of stuff happening. I don't know if you've seen over in Estonia. The Russians have been moving buoys in the river to sort of give them more territory. They've been projecting stuff onto like the castle wall about Russia is your language, you should come home to like Mother Russia. Basically all the things that were going on and that they were using to really try and kickstart, for example, the not quite so civil war, which led to little green men taking these things. And then miraculously, of course, when they were in this civil war, they would get all this ammo and help from the Russians, even though they totally weren't involved in any of this. This was just a domestic dispute, according to Putin. So, yeah, we got to be careful, because I think they're going to try and pull something in Europe sooner or later, and it will be probably one of those the three Baltic states where it happens. So we have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, indeed. We haven't talked much about we haven't talked at all about the situation in Gaza. I've been covering this on Morning Brew. Obviously, a journalist for Al Jazeera television based out of Qatar was executed in a targeted strike, along with four of his companions, or four of the journalists. Netanyahu is looking more and more out of control. Do you think there's any way we can rein this madman in? Is there anything that we can do that will actually make him sit up and pay attention?
Well, we've got obviously the big summit coming up in September, where we and France are going to sort of recognize Gaza at that point. And I think pretty much everyone then in Europe, I believe, then recognizes Palestine as a state.
Well, that's what we're hoping. I mean, Australia said they're going to do it. Canada, France, the UK. And that needs to go
the
ahead.
only leverage we really have.
But no, I mean that's not even leverage. It's just the first step towards a two-state solution. You got to have two states. Yeah, that's it. We don't have two states at the moment. We've got
this is it. It's always been about you need to pursue the two-state solution, and we should start, I think, cracking down and start really saying, look, you need to start saying you're going to support the two-state solution. You need to, pull your people out of Gaza.
Yeah.
Hamas needs to be, I think, should be disbanded. They need to stop messing about, quite frankly, saying, well, they're going to disarm, then they're not going to disarm, but they might disarm. Honestly, because I think they are, as I've said before, two biggest parts to peace in this area: right-wing Israeli government and Hamas.
But look at it this way, right? Hamas are absolutely well and truly screwing things up for people who live in Gaza. They're not screwing things up for Muslims living here. They're not screwing things up for Muslims living in America or Indonesia or Morocco. Netanyahu is fucking things up for Jewish people who live here in this country. He's fucking things up for people who are Jewish living in America and all over the world.
You are seeing big
diaspora. He
protests
is
against that.
fucking things
You've
up
seen
for them.
his announcement that he's going to take over Gaza City. It was a big protest over the weekend in Jerusalem against that.
Yeah.
So that is something I think that should have been a lot more reported than it did.
Yeah. And number 3 saying that the UK acknowledges Gaza or recognises Gaza. Does that mean Palestine Action suddenly becomes legal? I mean, the Palestine Action becoming a prescribed terrorist group. Maximilian, he'll talk about this on his show in a moment when we shouldn't you over there. But he was pointing out quite rightly in the chat that you got the UDF over in Northern Ireland, and people go out every year in marches in support of a prescribed terrorist group. No one's ever been arrested.
Yep.
For that offence. I mean, they've been arrested for throwing rocks at Catholics, but they haven't been arrested for actually just going out and supporting a terrorist group. If Sinn Féin is the political arm of the IRA, which it used to be, I mean, that's the way it sort of made its name. Surely that is supporting the aims of the IRA, even if it's not funding it directly. And so I think the Labour government have got themselves into an absolute legal quagmire over this, and we still don't know what they've done. And if they can only say, well, they caused damage and recount property damage as terrorism over an interpretation of the 2000 terrorist act.
I still think it's more about trying to discourage people from going to, shall we say, protest not at military bases but on military bases. I think
you used to have that in the 80s. In the 80s, ban the bomb, CND, they were all over that. They were breaking into places all over the, causing. I mean, they were told not to go near the American stuff because they'll be killed. But I just, there's no. Labour just keep on making
I think that's why it's been. But I also can't overlook the fact that I have a suspicion that there's something going on odd in that in the organization. In fact, most of the Palestinian groups, because there have been a lot of multiple times where they have gone and done things, not only just here in the UK, but around Europe, and they've sabotaged things that have been going to Ukraine.
Mm.
And it's, it's that basically that thing of like, once is a coincidence, twice is suspicious, but now it's been happening multiple times.
Yeah.
Well,
we've got to wrap it up there, unfortunately, because we could probably yak about this shit all night. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the super chat. I've raised about a tenner, so I can go out and buy me Lemsip now. Thank you for the Lemsip, everyone watching. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for Morning Brew. Big thank you to Ollie Bowler Hatman. Please subscribe to his channel. If you click on the link, it's in the title of this video, and you can join his musings. Ollie likes to go for walks in mornings and talk about the shit that is going down, man. Going down. So we're going to leave you in the safe and capable hands of Maximilian Robespierre. So say hello from us. And until next time, have a great evening. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
bye.